Simple lang. We are Group 4 and we are about to report the second part of environmental principles.
Finiteness of resources. Resources are what occurs in nature in their original, untouched form. They consist of all things that do not come under man-made creations. What we see around us that takes its course without the intervention of humans is what would account as natural resource. From rivers to mountains to precious stones and minerals, the earth is abundant with sources that develop on the planet. But it doesn't mean it's infinite. Because Earth is essentially a closed system, there is a finite amount of matter on the planet and its atmosphere. There are two types of resources. First is the finite resource or the non-renewable energy resource, such as coal, natural gas, oil, and nuclear energy. Once these resources are used up, they cannot be replaced, which is a major problem for humanity, as we are currently dependent on them to supply most of our energy needs. Finite resources are popular as they are easily accessible due to strong supply chains and often have benefits for manufacturing, particularly products or for energy supplies. Second is the non-finite resources or renewable resources are found naturally and can be replaced. Examples of these are wood, cotton, and renewable energy sources such as solar, geothermal, and wind. Where trees are cut down for wood or hibiscus plants harvested for cotton, new ones can be planted in their place. Due to increasing population, the consumption rate of Earth's natural resources have greatly increased to the point that resources that naturally formed cannot supply the global demand anymore. Industrialization, unethical and unrelated practices, corruption, pollution, and increasing population are only few of the many causes and contributors of overexploitation and damage to Earth's resources. That ends my report for finiteness of resources.
In addition to Mr. Mele's report about finite resources, overpopulation is an undesirable condition where the number of existing species exceeds the actual harvesting refers to harvesting a renewable resource to the point of diminishing returns. Due to the two factors mentioned above, finiteness of resources is inevitable yet can be prevented by managing resources in a sustainable manner and promoting the production of renewable resources.
Pollution is the undesirable accumulation of substances resulting in diminished quality and utility of our resources. So, the main cause of the air pollution is the solid and liquid particles and certain gases that are suspended in the air. These particles and gases can come from car and truck exhaust, factories, dust, pollen, spores, volcanoes, and wildfire. The solid and liquid particles suspended in our air called aerosols. So, what else causes air pollution? So, certain gases in the atmosphere can cause air pollution. So, for example, in cities, a gas called ozone is a major cause of air pollution. Ozone is also a greenhouse gas that can be both good and bad for our environment. It all depends where it is in Earth's atmosphere. So, how does air pollution affect Earth's climate? So, aerosols can impact how the sun's light hits Earth. For example, some aerosols reflect sunlight while the other absorb sunlight. It depends on the color of the particle. So, how does the air pollution affect our health? Breathing in polluted air can be very bad for our health. Long-term exposure to air pollution has been associated with diseases of the heart and lungs, cancers, and other health problems. That's why it's important for us to monitor air pollution. So, on the next.
So, mudagdag na lang ko sa types of pollution ha, kay di ko naman ni Jumar ang uban. So, ang akong ikuha na lang idagdag kay noise. So, an example sa noise ay human produce excessive amounts of loud noise, including industrial and vehicle sources. So, ang causes ano yan na excessive noise in the environment can interfere with animal communication. It can also harm animals that rely on sound for navigation or hunting. Then for the light also, humans produce excessive amounts of artificial light that interferes with natural cycles of light and darkness in the environment. So ang cause niya is artificial light can confuse nocturnal animals and animals which hunt at night or rely on the stars for navigation. That's it.
Pollution is the introduction of harmful materials into the environment. These harmful materials are called pollutants. Pollutants can be natural, such as volcanic ash. They can also be created by human activities, such as trash or runoff produced by factories. So pollutants damage the quality of air, water, and land. Many things that are useful to people produce pollution, like cars spray pollutants from their exhaust pipes. Burning coal to create electricity pollutes the air. Pollution is a global problem, although urban areas are usually more polluted than the countryside.
So, stewardship. The meaning stewardship is the job of supervising or taking care of something such as an organization or property. So, what it basically means is to take care of something. So, in this chapter, in this topic, it is more about morality and what God created for us and to take care of the people He made to do. So, stewardship means conducting, supervising, or managing something, especially in our own hands. So by being a steward, we should take care of our environment and we should be a good examples to other people and other let's say young kids to see us and want to become like us. And it will be continued by my colleague Salhay.
Stewardship. God gave human beings a special responsibility within creation to cultivate, guard it, and use it wisely. This is called stewardship. God said this in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and then let them have dominion, control, or jurisdiction over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps. Man has to work within creation and to look after it. God said this in Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. That is all for stewardship.
So stewardship, as you can say, stewardship means to govern, to manage, or to control. So as a in your in the God's gift to all, and that when God created the earth, He commanded man to be His steward. So as you can see, Adam managed all the animals. He named them, he take care of them, and do stuff that will the animals do. So that's how stewardship is. So next.
Sustainability. Sustainability means is described as meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. By balancing economic requirements with ecological concerns, the needs of the people are satisfied without compromising the needs of future generations. Sustainability for me means only using resources at the same rate that they can be regenerated and generate waste at the same rate, and it can be absorbed with the environment. Having a balance between what you can use and what the planet resources can provide. Understand the capacity of the earth and the time to regenerate these resources naturally. Water, food, wood, metals, fish, etc. Circular economy is a good example for sustainability because it means that you can get what you need and also saving resources for the future. Next slide, please. The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. So it's best to act now since carbon emissions are at an all-time high. And yeah, that ends my.
Hello. So to add on to Abinion's report about sustainability, it was described earlier that it's meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. That's what the previous reporter said. It's about balancing uh, what you consume and at the same time uh, how you'll be able to replace that uh, what you have consumed, no, in terms of resources. So there are seven ways to achieve sustainability. First is reducing consumption of resources such as water and energy. So during especially during the pandemic, uh, there's a lot of scarcity given in terms of resources. This is water and energy. You have to learn how to save water and not to waste it. Every time when we're not using the faucet, to off. And mas maigi recycle gid water. Eh, if water gikan sa nalaba ka, pwede rin mo i-recycle para unya mangyabo sa tanom sa may mga plants or only use sa inyong gawa sa inyong balay. Next is building better building practices to reduce energy and you'll have to find better ways to instead of using old school but we could always use efficient material same sa atong aircraft, no, where we use mga wood evolve into ito na yung mga steel aluminum na gamiton and such time abot na kuan kanang composite a good example, no. More fuel efficient engines in cars and trucks. I guess it's advisable for this is if you would like to buy cars, it has to be fuel efficient. Better to buy if smaller cars or with smaller engines. Or like if you're a huge family, you buy a SUV or van. Like you should try to check your lifestyle if what kind of lifestyle you're having. Okay, let's say you're only one person and you want to buy an expensive car. Kaya mas dakog engine. So nagkalas-kalas ra ka og o ano, mas nag-harm pa ka sa environment instead of helping it. So if usara ka books, better to kung ano lang buy say a smaller vehicle or magmotor na lang ka or magbus sa nga pasikat ka. Pero naran imong gyapon. Next is increasing recycling. To recycle materials gyapon. As much as possible if pwede recycle jud ka. Yan. May it be kanang mga grocery bags yung mapalit sa stores. Recycle. Next is protector of forests all over the earth and protector of soil all over the earth. As much as possible, we should protect Mother Nature because It is where we gather most of our resources from food to our materials used for our homes, no, kahoy, mga natural resources, and the likes. Next is living a sustainable lifestyle. So as much as possible, use what you have and uh, don't waste if you have um, if you're abundant with materials, if you're kanang privileged enough to have ang daghan mo pagkaon na may balay nga nindot and all, di nimo siya i-waste. As much as possible, sustain what you have.
So for me, sustainability is important for us, for our economy or for our Mother Earth. Because why is sustainability important in economics? So from the word itself, sustainability, we need to have enough resources for us to provide in the future. So adopting sustainable practices, large and small, has the potential to make a huge impact on the environment, society, and economy. The end goal is a world where every human has access to basic resources. So, what are the basic resources or the basic commodity for us humans? So, that is and shelter, food, and clothes. So we use resources at a manageable rate so as not to run out of them and maintain economic development. So we need to preserve our resources for us to survive in the future. We shouldn't use our resources. We should limit our use to it. We shouldn't use it greedily for us to survive in the future and have enough resources for us to provide.